Hi boys and girls, today I would like to go over how to assemble your clarinet. So first you should have your clarinet case opened. Do not place it on your lap because you never know, pieces might fall out. We don't want them falling to the floor. So either place it on a table or place it on the floor next to you. What I'd like you to take out is take out your reed, place this in your mouth, and you're going to get it nice and wet. So keep it in your mouth. I'm going to take mine out so that I can talk. The next thing that you're going to get is take out your cork grease. This is not chapstick, so this is actually going to go onto the cork of your clarinet. There's 3 different corks. Take out your mouthpiece and your ligature. So this is my mouthpiece cap. I'm going to take this off and place it in my case. I'm going to take off my ligature. So the ligature is what attaches to the mouthpiece to hold the reed in place. And I'm also going to take out my barrel. So this is my barrel. This is what it looks like. So I'm going to take my cork grease and I'm just going to place a little bit of cork grease going around the cork on the mouthpiece. So we do this for a couple of reasons. First, we do this so that the mouthpiece and the barrel could easily slip together. And we also add cork grease on it so that the cork doesn't dry out, because sometimes the corks might dry out. And when you're placing them together, it just might fall apart, the cork. So you probably want to do this, maybe you might have to do this every day for a little while, and then maybe every other day, every 3 days, and you'll see how easily it slips on. So I'm going to take my mouthpiece and my barrel, and I'm just going to give them a twist and put them on like this. Okay? The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ligature, and what I want to do is I want to slip my ligature onto the mouthpiece. If you noticed, I was able to easily slip the ligature right on and it fits. If I flipped it over the other way, it doesn't fit. So if you're noticing that you're trying to put your ligature on and it just seems like it won't go on, you have it on backwards. So I'm going to take my ligature, flip it over, and place it on. And I want my pins pointing on the side of the opening of the mouthpiece. So the next thing you're going to do is take your reed out of your mouth. And if you notice on your reed, there's a flat side. And then there's a side that it starts off like nice and thin over here, and it's a little bit thicker, the reed. We want the flat side to touch the flat side of the mouthpiece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide my ligature with my thumb. I'm going to take my reed. I'm going to slip it under. I have the flat side, so my reed says Rico. Yours might say something else. I'm going to have the flat side slip under. And I am going to line the tip up of the reed to the tip of the mouthpiece so they line up perfectly like that. And I'm going to pull my ligature down just a little bit, and I'm going to tighten my ligature up. And then I'm going to take my mouthpiece cap cover. Yours might be black, mine is silver, and I'm going to cover up my mouthpiece and just set that aside. Okay, the next part is really tricky to put together, especially in the beginning of the stages of learning how to put your clarinet together. You just want to be really careful, so don't go ahead of me on this. Okay, so I have my upper joint facing up. So the name of my clarinet, which is a buffet, is facing up. And I have this second silver ring key right here. See this? This one. So here's your first one. Here's my second one. This key is really important. If you tap on it, you're going to notice that there's a part of the clarinet that's wiggling right here. This is your bridge key. This is the part that could break the most. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your lower joint into your right hand. The cork side is going to be facing down. The non-cork side is going to be facing up. And you're also going to notice that there is another key on this side right here. See that? So look for that on your clarinet right now. This is where that bridge key that was just wiggling on the upper joint needs to line up perfectly with that. So I'm going to take my upper joint in my left hand. I'm pressing the silver ring down, which is lifting up my bridge key. I'm taking my lower joint and I'm holding on to the bottom of it where there's the least amount of keys. And I'm seeing where my bridge key joint right here, I'm going to take and line that up. Just give it little wiggles and pushes together so that it lines up perfectly. See how this is lined up perfectly right here? Don't ever, ever, ever take and twist your entire clarinet around, I'm not going to even show you that because these keys and these keys will break off, and that's not good. So to take your clarinet apart, you need to always press the second ring down on the upper joint, holding onto your lower joint where the least amount of keys are, and give it tiny little wiggles and pulls to pull it apart. Never twisting it around. Don't ever do that. So again, one more time. Upper joint's in my left hand. Lower joint is in my right hand. I push this silver ring down, which lifts up my bridge key. I find where the other part of the bridge key is on the lower joint, and I give it little wiggles and turns, and I push it together. And now it's lined up perfectly. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I have cork grease on the bottom, if you haven't already done that. I'm going to hold on to the lower joint where the least amount of keys are. I'm going to take out my bell. So here's my bell, and it says Buffet on my bell. Yours might have a name, may have Selmer, Yamaha, Bundy. It may not have a name on it. You're going to attach your bell onto the lower joint. I'm going to have my name facing out this way from the keys. I'm then going to take my barrel and mouthpiece that has been put together. The part with the ligature that's pointing the screws on here are going to face towards me. So this is the back of the clarinet. So I'm going to face my keys out towards you, and I'm going to take my ligatures going to face towards me, and I'm going to give it little wiggles and twists and push that in place. So now to have my whole clarinet together, my reed is on the back. So this is the back side of the clarinet facing towards me, and my keys are facing out towards you. So to take your clarinet apart, I'm going to place my mouthpiece cap over the top. I'm going to hold on to the keys up here. So I'm just going to try to hold where the least amount of keys are because we don't want to break anything. I'm going to give my barrel a little wiggle and pull, pulling this apart, setting this aside. I'm then going to hold on where the least amount of keys are on the bottom lower joint, holding onto my bell, give this little wiggles and pulls, place my bell in the case. Then again, you guessed it, we're going to push down that second silver key right here. Even if I tap it, you can see my bridge key is wiggling over here. So I'm holding on where the least amount of keys are on the lower joint, pressing down that second silver ring key, and I'm giving little twists and pulls. Notice I'm not pulling, twisting the whole clarinet around because these keys, again, could break. I've already seen some students' keys break, so we don't want those happening to yours. So we're going to give this little wiggles and pulls. It is separated. So I'm placing my upper joint in the case, my lower joint in the case. The next thing I'm going to do is take my mouthpiece cap off. I'm going to take my reed out. I'm going to place my reed in my reed case, and you're just going to place that in there. Don't push it all the way in because the reeds can get stuck. Then I'm going to take my ligature off. I'm going to untwist my mouthpiece in my barrel, place my barrel back in my case, place my ligature back onto the mouthpiece, and place the mouthpiece cap back onto the mouthpiece. And that is how you assemble and take apart your clarinet.